Everything you see is a reflection of you. You can only see what you are. Life, reality, quote unquote, your reality, what's outside of you, is just a mere mirror. This means that everything you've seen in your life was perfectly aligned to your internal state. Now, this is opposite to what you've been taught, which is that what is happening outside is causing you to feel and think a certain way. But this is not true. It's the complete opposite. It's the complete opposite. And this is what it means to be asleep versus awoken. And I don't mean woke in the political sense. I mean like awake in this world, conscious. Random example. You see a person running. This person running had the thought and emotion aligned to be able to go run, or at least she had the conviction to do it. And now she's running. And now she's gonna get in better shape. And she's going to feel better from it. And funny enough, that feeling that she got from the running will probably lead to better decisions because she's now operating from a more positive state. But really, the reason the whole chain of events started was because she had the internal desire to do so. For whatever reason. Yet there's people, I'm gonna have to switch the camera every so often. Yet there's people who are fat and overweight and lazy. Why is that? Is it because she somehow has a better external reality than they do? I think not, because there are people who are in shape who are from poor countries, and there are people who are fat who are in rich countries. So it has nothing to do with your external reality. It has to do with your willingness and desire and your clarity of mind. Through having a clear mind and having good intentions, you can change your fucking life. This isn't just about fitness. It's about any domain of life you want to get better at. You want to be more fruitful in. It all comes from the internal desire. Everything you see is just a result of something within. Let me go deeper on that, okay? When you are in a state of negativity, all you can see is negativity. When you are in a state of positivity, all you can see is positive. You're ever in a bad mood and next thing you know, you're just thinking of all these negative things? They say when it rains, it pours. They say bad things happen in threes. This doesn't mean what it actually means. It doesn't mean that bad things actually happen in threes. What it means is that when something bad happens to you, you'll find more bad shit. You'll literally create more bad shit because you're in a bad frequency. So something bad happens to you, gets you in a bad frequency. Your bad frequency creates more bad shit to happen to you, which creates a worse frequency, which creates more bad shit to happen to you until you snap the fuck out of it. And break the cycle. When it rains, it pours. And this "when it rains, it pours" quote can also go towards the positive. You ever start making more money and then next thing you know, you're making even more money and next thing you know, you're more feeling like confident with it? It's like gambling. You know, you're on a gambling streak. Now you have all this confidence. You're doing well until you fuck up and then you're not doing so well. Winning and losing streaks are a very common occurrence in life. And a lot of people don't realize why it's happening. It's only happening because of your internal state. Which means, what this means, here, 1 second, guys. Let me hold this phone better. All right. All this really means, here, let me throw this fucking matcha away. 1 second. All this really means is that if you just decide when something bad happens to you, instead of letting yourself get into a bad frequency, which will cause more bad shit to happen to you, you need to reverse engineer this and think logically. Okay, next time something bad happens to me, I'm going to literally get into a positive frequency. Now you've just beat the game. Because once you're in the positive frequency, you've just broken the cycle. Because here's the thing, bad shit doesn't just fucking happen to you. You caused it to. So, this might sound crazy though. You might be like, how the hell am I gonna be positive when bad shit happens to you? It all starts with understanding this one law about failure, which is failure is not real, and within every negative, there is a positive. One of the biggest fucking things I talk about on this channel. Every single negative thing, there is a positive within it. The universe does not fail. This is always the case. And once you can fully embrace this and accept this, you live life without fear because you start to realize nothing bad can actually happen to you. So, if you face failure, and instead of getting into a negative frequency, you just look at it for what it is, you objectively find that positive seed that it has, and then you let the seed blossom into the flower. You do this non-reactively. This is very stoic-like. This is very adjacent to Stoicism philosophy. Guys, this is not some woo-woo shit. This is real shit. This is how the universe works. The law of polarity. Everything has its energetic opposite. This is literally physics. When you boil it down to an atom, there's a electron and a proton. What does that mean? That means on the smallest scales of this universe, everything is made of positive and negative. Do you really think, for some reason, that your negative situation is somehow exempt from this physical truth? Stop thinking you're so fucking special. Something I say a lot too. And I don't say this to degrade anybody. No. I say this to make you realize we're all the same. And that my advice does apply to you. It does. You're not exempt from these universal laws and truths that not just me, I'm not the only person who knows this stuff, but a lot of people have been stumbling across them throughout the ages of time. And that's why you see people who are happy, living a good life, regardless of their external circumstances, and then you see people who have great external circumstances and they're not living a great life. Or why you see people having success externally, and then you see people who don't have success externally, and they just keep fucking up. So really ask yourself this. Do you want to keep fucking up? Do you want to? Or do you want to change? And if so, why? Why do you want to change? A lot of guys have no why. I was on a call the other day and I asked the guy, like, what's your goals for the next coming months? He said, be more confident. I'm like, okay, can you be more specific with this? And he just couldn't tell me. And I've realized, like, that's most men. Most men don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't know where the fuck they're going. Walking around life like a fucking leaf in the wind. Thinking life is like this thing you take half-ass. Something you like barely try. It's crazy, man. I don't fucking get it. Do you guys think this is like a test run or some shit? The time is now to take shit more seriously. It really is. And you know what's interesting? When I say that, I don't mean all you do is work, quote unquote work, and you don't relax and enjoy life. That's not what I mean. And a lot of advice nowadays is geared towards that. Hormozy, Andrew Tate, etc. I'm not impressed by any of these fucking guys. I'm really not. I've come to realize whatever goes mainstream is usually not even that deep. Why? Because whatever goes mainstream is appealing to the general public. And the general public is fucking, oh my God, I hate to say this, man. But they're just, they are, back to the beginning of this video, they are asleep. They are. There's this theory circulating around the internet called the NPC theory, which means that most people that you see don't even exist. They're just kind of, they're not even there. I think that's true. Most people are leaves in the wind, being blown around. You could argue they're less conscious than a fucking dog. Especially less than a cat. If you ever had a cat, which by the way, I have one now, they're very conscious. It's hard to explain what I mean by this because some people will argue dogs are smarter than cats. I argue otherwise. Dogs may have more neurons in their brain than cats. Just like how there might be an engineer in some college who has more neurons in their brain than me, but he's still struggling with his diet, with his dating life, with his confidence, with his happiness. He's still struggling. So who the fuck is smarter, me or that guy? Honestly. Same thing with the cat and the dog. Something about cats, man. They're very aware. They're very like spiritually woke. It's kind of crazy, man. If you ever had a cat, you know what I mean. See, I'll tell you one thing a cat will do that a dog won't. When I meditate, my cats, without fail, pretty much always come to me. They always come to me. They just sit next to me. They literally meditate next to me. See, when I had a dog, the dog didn't really do that. He wasn't that attuned to energy. He was expressive. Dogs are expressive. Just like how I said, on the scale of intelligence, dogs are smarter than cats, on the scale of like this spiritual intelligence, like that degree, cats are farther along. That's what it feels like to me. I don't know. When I look at a cat's eyes, I'm just like, bro, you're like attuned to the universe. Dogs are a little more surface level. I'm not saying that's a hate on a dog. It's almost like dogs are more human-like. And as a result, humans are just a little bit more... The average human is a little bit more connected towards their ego and their sense of identity. Which, by the way, if you're curious why I talk about ego so much, I do it because that is the one thing that's stopping you with any goal. It's your ego. It's your fucking ego. Ultimately, to get anything in life, you have to give. You must sacrifice to receive. Sacrifice what? Sacrifice yourself. Your ego. You want to learn a new skill, you got to throw away your ego and learn the skill. Be a beginner with it. You want to start a new job, but you're so scared of it not working, you got to throw away your ego that's so scared of losing its money or its identity or it's this or it's that or its status. Oh, what if my parents think this about... Shut the fuck up about your parents, bro. God damn it. If you're fucking between the ages of 18 and up and you still care about what your parents think of you, you're a fucking... Let me not call you an idiot, but let's just say you are so far behind of where you could be. You're so far behind. I love my parents, but I'm not gonna let them continue to raise me after I became a grown-ass man. That makes no sense. And if I listened to their advice, I'd be where they're at. And this applies if you have successful parents, because here's the thing, they're successful, but they became successful in their day and age, not in yours. To wrap up this video, to get back to the title, which I can't even fucking remember what the title was, and I know this was a more serious video. I think it's the caffeine, it just hit me on a serious note today. I got it. It was the idea that everything outside is a mirror, which is true. To finish up that point, next time something bad happens to you, bad, don't let it rock you. You need to learn how to get hit in the fucking face. Hit in the face, and then get back to work and keep fighting. You need to learn how to do that shit. Such good advice, man. I remember watching this movie, Rocky, and there was this part where he talks to the guy, giving him a crazy good speech. And he says life isn't about how hard you can hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and get back up. And that is really, really true. Like, holy fuck. It's really true. So get back up and keep fighting. Because reality is a reflection of you. You can only see what you are. Thus, it only makes sense to really work on what you are and to really be aware of who you are at any given moment. And if you want to work with me, one-on-one, link is in my description to level up your mindset, your dating life, your confidence. We'll talk soon. And also, if you have any questions, DM Sergio Chavez Coach on my Instagram. Talk to you guys soon. Peace.